I mixed Blues Boogie, Joe Carreli's project in entire Cakewalk with a stock plugin. You're welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Ezekiel, and I hope you are doing well. Alright, in this video, this is an exciting stuff with some DMs and with some discussions on different platforms with friends and everyone with what I see online. They talks about Cakewalk, some bullshit reaction. So I decided to put Cakewalk into a test to see how far it can go in handling a project on its own without using third-party plugins and achieve good output. This is what I'm trying to do. And it has been a very long time that I used Cakewalk with a stop plugin to do a mix, which it was a fantastic one, and it turned out well with the response from people, so which gave me more encouragement to do more. And with that challenge, I want to see how far Cakewalk Sonar can go with its top plugins and what it can achieve. So I have Blues Boogie, Joe Carreli's project, which is one of his projects that he did, that they give out a free multi-track for everyone to try out. So the recording is an excellent one. The performance is an excellent one. Of course, they are professionals and Joe Carreli himself. But one thing that gave me a challenge is the drum recording. The snare drum has much bleeding, the kick and so on. The recording sounds more like natural, which is fantastic, which is something that I love. So it's not something that sounds readily mixed, so which you can just do a little, so you need to do a lot. So I wondered, I would love to see how Joe Carreli did the mix. So what I use, so I want to compare to what I use. So because of the challenge that I faced to get it done this way, because when I watch that video and listen to that, it's like far like magical stuff in that. So like you just watched the video earlier on, so I'm gonna play the raw tracks for you, so you're going to listen to how it sounds like, and then I'm gonna be showing you what I use, but it's just to show what Cakewalk Sonar can do, how far it can go in handling mix, in fact, handling a challenge mix. So let's go into that. Here is it. I'm going to bypass all the master effects plugins. So let's listen to how it sounds like. So you've just listened to how it sounds like, all right? So in comparison with the mix that I did, that you watched earlier on. So we're going to go into that. I'm going to be showing you from each kit down. So you're going to see if it's better or not, if it tries or not, okay? But before I do that, so if you're new to this channel, I want you to subscribe and click on all notification button so that you'll get to know whenever a new video comes out. And if you're enjoying what you're watching, please don't hesitate to thumb up for me. Drop your comment below. What's your intake about this video, about what I'm doing? Thank you so much. Here we are now. Then let's listen to from the kick. Okay. That's the kick with the plugins, with the mix and without. All right, I'm going to turn off everything one after the other. If you have been following me for long, you know that I rarely do without Cakewalk or Pro channel. The entire console emulation, I love it so much. I love the analog, the hardware emulation feels on that. So that's one of the things I love Cakewalk. Why I use it so much. Okay, so listen to that now while I'm turning on the plugins. You may not really feel what the emulation is doing on that kick, probably on some other instrument, so you may be able to feel and to understand what it's doing. But this one is representing a preamp, on an analog console. There's from the input drive and the different three types of console emulations that we have here. So you can switch to different console, either the SSL, NIF, or API, whichever suits you. You can hear how it is getting improved. So from there, the console emulation bus, and I'm using the N type, then goes to PC76 U type. So from there, let's see what we have on the quad curve equalizer, and without and with it, before we get into the gate. So this is guitar and Cakewalk, so which you don't need to stress yourself. And this is the percentage that I'm giving to it to clean up the from the kick. All right, this is one of my favorites, but I don't use it so much. But I use VS64 vocal strip so much virtually. I use it on vocals, right? But I also use it on saxophone, brass ensemble. You can use it on guitar, almost on any channel strip that you can use well on vocals can virtually go for almost everything: guitars, brass, keys, and some anything related to that. So, which is lovely. So this is what I'm doing on that. Just listen without and with it, everything. So this has compressor, expander, equalizer, and it has saturation on the input and on the output. You can do so many things with this. And also the equalizer section also has a vintage and a classic type, so which you can change the character of the frequency response of your equalization on whatever you are using it for. So this is good on bass guitar, drums, and percussion. So it is lovely. So, and you can use it to shape the character of your signal. This is one of the reasons why I love this guy. And from there goes to the tube. I use the tube. I love the tube. So the tube has two types: the one that has dark tone and one that has brighter tone, so which is the type 2 on the output of every channel strip. So I'm using type A. So type A sounds more like almost flat and with smooth response, and with the drive. So that's why I use the console emulation bus as the preamp first, then which is this one, the type A, is representing my console. You understand that? So that's about it. And let's go on the snare drum. Let me open that, listen to it with and without also. Now let me show you. You can listen to the difference now. So I think virtually on everything. So I'm gonna be doing this one for just few tracks on everything. So you can have the feels of what each plugin is doing. When I open the rest of the kits, it will not look strange or sound strange to you that what am I doing? What is that doing? What is this one doing? It's doing for me. So, and listen to the snare drum while I turn on each plugin. So on that snare drum, I'm gonna go to the PS64 percussion strip. From there, it goes to the tube. So let's see what is going on here, and you're gonna feel what is doing, tone, character, and the texture that is adding to the snare drum. You could hear what that is doing, and from there that goes to the tube also. Look at the percentage of the drive in that, and let's listen to it and with the console emulation. Okay, that's about that. Listen to that with the kick and the snare together. Okay, together with the snare bottom. So I did the same thing. Virtually, just take a look at the EQ here. You can see the EQ is the same thing. So what I only do is by clicking on the control on your keyboard, and you just drag and drop here. You can see the symbol of duplication on the mouse. So that's just what I did to copy that and just drop. And one of the things is that on the compressor, let's see, I create a preset on that compressor for myself. You can see TSS snare. So that's the preset that I created on that. And if you see, like on the previous video that I did, you can see how to create your own template and presets on your Pro channel strip. So virtually the same thing. So I copied the same preset on both the compressor, almost everything. You can see what is going on here, and the EQ. So that sounds like this. Now, I'm not going to go on the toms for now. Let's listen to the room with and without. So let me just show you what is going on here. The N type, that's what I'm using for all of the console emulation bus, which is serving as my preamp. So that goes to PC76, the U type, and look at the compression setting, and goes to the EQ. Look at what I'm doing here. I'm also using Gloss. Gloss is a tool that makes your EQ to sound more clean, so more top end and the low end. So it will eliminate it from sounding more like a vintage EQ. That's what I did on that. That goes to PX64 percussion strip. Take a look at the mix here. I selected the preset then, and I'll change it to character to suit my mix for me. So that's about it. And that also goes to the tube and back to my channel strip. So let's listen to the three of them together. So that's it. Now, the next thing in line is, so let's listen to the overheads, the way it sound like, then we'll move on from there. So, as you can see, the settings, the tube, the console emulation, channel strip, so look at the settings, take a look at the EQ here. That's about the OH. And let's go to the right. on that ride, so they have similar thing, just what I did on the ride. Take a look at the EQ, turning on the gloss. You're gonna listen to how they sound like. And as usual, so just sing this one. For the ride, I'm driving the drive all the way above 3.4 dB percentage on that. Then look at the compressor setting. So this is 8 to 0 and very fast attack and medium release and level of the input. So that's the EQ goes to just passing through the tube. I'm not driving the tube at all. Then so look at what is going on the PA64 percussion strip. Okay, let's listen to that now again. Now I'm going to move on to the toms. I grouped the two toms, just the rack toms and the floor tom, so grouped into here. So now let me show you what is going on here. I'm boosting the 2K up to 3 dB and look at the low and the high EQ, where I'm boosting for that. And also following the same procedure, console emulator bus, my preamp and to the compressor, to the EQ, and ends air. Because I'm using the console emulator channel and because I'm using it on the toms group, so I don't use it on individual, so it doesn't make a difference. And the same thing applies to the floor tom. So if you listen to that, the way it sounds like in the mix, and take a look at the mix for the compressor section and the input. So that's it. Now listen to the toms without this guy and see the rest of the plugin that I'm using. So listen to it now. And finally on the drum, so let's see what's happening on the drum boss. All right, so which I'm not really doing something much, just look at that. So on drum boss, I'm using the PC 4K S-Type and look at the setting that I'm giving to it. The dry wet signal all the way up to 66% on that now. I only turn on the EQ, so not doing anything. So, and I'm using the tube to like a limiter before it goes back to the console emulation bus here again. So it gives my drums more drives and more texture and character on that. All right, this is so interesting. And let me show you from the EQ. Let me pin that, the console emulation. This is my preamp. So while I'm having a TSU, I'm also using TSU. From the EQ goes to the compressor. From the compressor go to console emulation, so the A type. So that is what you are listening to there. All right, let me first show you what I have. On the low organ, I'm having this type of the console emulation. And also, just take a look at the EQ here. All right, goes to the compressor and the tube again and the emulation, and look at the main organ B3 and take a look at this one too and the way it sounds like. So the compressor, from that just see, and from there to compressor and to the tube, I brought down the output gain a little bit and goes to the emulator channel. Listen to both of them with the drums. I hope you are enjoying this one. And please, if you're just joining me, subscribe to this channel and click on all notification button. And if you are enjoying what you are watching, please don't hesitate to thumb up for me. Share this video. What's your opinion? Drop down the comments below. Lastly, I want to show you the two guitars that are remaining here. But take a look at this one. I'll also group the guitars into one place so that I can give it an even control, add a little bit of character into that, and possibly anything else. And take a look at that. I have PC76, the U type on it, and subtle compression, and I have the EQ turned on down to console emulator channel. Now the console end type goes to the EQ, just a little bit of the high pass filter, so that's not necessary. It's not doing anything there. Then down to the TSU. From that TSU down to the PC76 U type, again with a compressor, and all the way up to 76%, so down to A type console emulator channel. So we're going to listen to that now. That's it on the lead guitar, and you could just hear the tissue, how it sounds like. I'm having a tissue, so look at the amp. So it has tons of plugins, preset, amp, emulation, and so on. That's what I've used there. But this one on the guitar too, this is where I just boost a little bit of high frequency. And so just take a look at that then. So look at what I'm boosting on the 5K, a little bit on the 1K plus. And back to the compressor. So look at the setting also down here. So let's listen to that and with and without. So I'm having the same preset, so just a little bit different from that one. That's it about it. And finally, so on the master mix box, I'm still using a S type. So I'm gonna play the song again. Let's listen to the way that sounds like. So as you can see, the compressor needle barely move, and that's what I did about that. Look at the dry wet mix, close to 60%, and the threshold, the very slow attack, and the auto release. And look at the makeup, not much. This is my EQ on that, so it will not cover. Just take a look at the EQ, what I'm doing on that. For the EQ, and check here, we have a lot of preset for the EQ, and this is what I'm using, and I adjust the frequency to suit my mix. So that's about that. And finally, the one, and please, this one is going to loud because I use it, so like every regular mix. So you use third-party plugins to boost for mastering, like you understand. So this is not a crime. So please, for anyone that wants to criticize, this is normal. All right. I use one to pre-master the song that I'm working on. What you just listened to in the beginning was just what came out of this DAW training, no mastering, no anything, but just this one. So this is what I do. I only boost the width a bit and the focus, and I bring down the analog so that it won't compress too much. Now we're going to listen from the beginning and just a little bit before I say bye for now. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you learned something from it. I want to know what's your opinion, what's your intake on hearing Cakewalk Sonar plugins mixing Blues Boogie Joe Carreli's project. What do you think Cakewalk developers still need to improve on to still add to this one? Please, let's hear from you by dropping down your comments. This way I'm going to be stopping for now for today's video. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this one and I'm going to see you in the next one. Bye for now.